Hello, Larry Coburn here. I want to share with you this model of organizational design or culture or system, a way of looking at our organizations from a leadership perspective that I've found to be very, very helpful. I just want to introduce the model, um, which is based on something a lot of authors have written about and people have talked about now for quite some time, the purpose, process, and people model. And by the way, I've attached a PDF version of this to the course so you can follow along more closely if you can't read this on the camera. Um, and what my friend Dr. Michael Morrison has done through a lot of research and working with clients that he's worked with, Southwest Airlines, Avery Dennison, Harley Davidson, Nike, Lexus, a number of different companies over the years, has identified these 9 areas. There's certainly more to an organization than these 9 things, but these 9 are what seem to be over and over again differentiators. And I just want to introduce the model in this video and really focus on the first column of purpose for just a few minutes. But overall, what Dr. Morrison has done is taken the purpose, process, and people construct and intersected that with the perspective of customers, of the perspective of employees, and the perspective of the business or the organization. And this I've found applies to not just for-profit businesses, but all sorts of organizations. You might have to adjust the language a little, but all organizations have some kind of recipients, some kind of people who receive something. In a business, we think of those as customers. They're receiving product or buying product. But for example, a not-for-profit organization is providing services of some kind to help some group of people, and that group of people that they're helping could be thought of as customers in a particular way. Even though they may not be buying anything, they are receiving things. And then employees, could be volunteers, and certainly business doesn't have to be a business if it's not a business. If it's a school or a church or some other organization, you could substitute organization here. And these 3 perspectives, looking at purpose, process, and people, from those 3 perspectives, surfaces things that all organizations tend to get involved in, but often they're not put together in a common view or in a systematic way. So I'll just go through the 9 boxes quickly and then return to look at the purpose statement. So in the upper left corner is the intersection of purpose with customer needs. What do our customers need in terms of the purpose of our organization? Well, they need us to create some kind of value for them. Customers need an organization, the organizations that they transact with, organizations that they interact with, to provide some value, to create some kind of value. And so leaders can be concerned about and evaluate their organization in terms of what kind of customer value proposition does our organization have, and is it clear? And so that often is used in a marketing type discussion for businesses. What's the value we're bringing to people? Let's present to people the value that we intend to bring. But there's also, if you think of it internally in organizations, a real sense in which the customer value proposition could be well known, well understood, or not. So an example of one that's well understood in the business world would be IKEA. So IKEA produces a particular type of product, a particular type of furniture for a particular purpose. And people who shop at IKEA tend to know that. They don't go to IKEA, for example, to buy a family heirloom, something you're going to pass down from generation to generation. You're more not, if you go to IKEA and look for that, you're probably not going to find it. You're going to find something very utilitarian, something economical. Maybe you get to put it together yourself, fits in small spaces and those sorts of things, but it may not be in contrast to, say, Ethan Allen. You go to Ethan Allen's store to buy something that you're going to pass on to generations and generations. How clear is our customer value proposition to us, but to our customers? Do they understand? So people shop at IKEA for the first time, they don't know anything about it. They may be frustrated that they can't find that family heirloom piece of furniture, for example. Or if they go to Ethan Allen, they have no idea what that is. Then they may be looking for something that Ethan Allen is not going to offer, a shelf or a desk or something that can be put into a college dorm. So moving down to employee needs of purpose, employees really need to understand where we're going, what's the direction, or true north, sometimes we say. Employees really, in terms of purpose, need to know what the purpose is. And so mission, vision, values, and those sorts of things are really important to employees, and leaders are on a quest then for clarity to help employees understand that. And then the organization, in terms of purpose, really needs strategies. It really needs the organization really is looking in terms of purpose for strategic plans that make sense with that purpose. In the process column, those same intersections, customers really want to be able to pull value. They really want to get value on their terms. I go to Subway to get a sandwich, and they have all the ingredients there, but they have not made the sandwich yet until I get there and I tell them what I want to do. It's a classic example of pull. That's what customers are looking for in terms of the processes with our organization. How easy is it for our customer or our service recipients, however we want to think of them, parishioners, how easy is it for them to get the value the way they want it, when they want it, and so forth. What employees are looking for in terms of the process is the ability to collaborate together. Does our process work? When I do my part of the process, you do your part of the process, do we have a train wreck, or do we have a nice smooth relay race type handoff? And then how easy is it for me to interact with my teammates? What the business is looking for in terms of process is that our processes are always getting better. They're continuously improving, and there's lots of process improvement efforts near and dear to my heart that would fit into that picture. Then in the people column, what customers really are looking for are people in the organization that can take responsibility, can lead. So the most frustrating thing when you as a customer are interacting with a business is when the person you're talking to can't answer your question. They have to call a manager, they have to get special permission, or maybe they just say, I don't have permission, I'm not able to do that. Contrast that with, say, the experience many of us have in a place like Starbucks, where any person who's working in the Starbucks, if they see me dump my drink all over the place, not only helps clean things up, but ask me what I was drinking, they go and get me another drink. They don't have to go ask somebody if they can do that. They don't have to get permission from headquarters. They're given the leadership to do that. And we appreciate that very much as opposed to the others. So customers are really looking for the people they interact with to be able to lead. The employees need, on the people side, they need engagement. So that's a big buzzword these days, but they need to be engaged, and leaders strive to drive engagement in the workplace, thinking about the culture and the climate of what's happening in our organization. And we'll have more to say about that later. And then the last column is, what does the organization need in terms of people, is us to have a real talent management where we have the right people with the right skills, the right preparation, in the right jobs at the right time. And all of that is really working. And so none of these things are, cosmic brand new concepts or anything to organizations. But when we look at them together, then we can begin to ask, for example, in the purpose area, do our customers understand our customer value proposition the way that we do? I worked for a long time for the IT or technology. It was actually before the term IT was invented within the organization. And we felt our value to our customers, which were the other functions within the organization, we believed our customer value proposition, if you will, was that we were supporting innovation, we were supporting decision making, we were just supporting their ability to do the business functions that they need to do to serve the customer well. But how were we perceived by those customers? The honest truth was, when we talked with people, they looked at us as kind of the security police. They looked at us as people who made their lives more complicated, whose stuff they became dependent on, and then it wouldn't work when they really needed it. And so their view of us and our view of us in terms of the customer value proposition were mixed up. And in many cases, it was like going to McDonald's to have a romantic dinner with your sweetheart. That is a relationship that might not last that long. And that's what was happening with us. So we began to work on how can we align the perception of our customer value from our customers with our own aspirational customer value, and to get those more in sync. Then looking at what employees need, what is the idea that is the true north, the vision, the mission, the values, in sync with that customer value proposition. Many organizations, amazingly, have a customer-facing, marketing-esque customer value proposition. They do a good job of communicating that. But then internally, they have a whole nother set of speak and words and vision and mission and values and things that don't necessarily align. And that's where leaders can begin to look at these things together. And then what does our strategic planning have to do? Our method of planning, the way we plan, the timing of our plans, how they're put together, is it in keeping with the mission, the vision, the values, the customer value proposition that we have? How well does our purpose align, or are these activities kind of segmented and separated? Those are concerns that leaders would have. So this can be an awesome model. I want to spend more time in our course looking at it with you and talking about it. We'll revisit it at least 2 more times, looking at the process and the people columns in a little more detail. But I just encourage you to think about purpose, process, and people, especially purpose in the organizations you're a part of, and how aligned are the customer value proposition, how aligned with the mission, vision, and values, and the strategic planning that goes on. Thank you, and let's enjoy the purpose, process, people model as we go forward in our leadership development.